Corporate revenge story. Marketing content title, 71 characters. CEO fired me at 35,000 feet. I called his rival, took over his company. Thumbnail text. I was at 35,000 feet when my company access was cut. The new CEO emailed, "Your services are no longer required." I bought the Wi-Fi and called his biggest rival. "I have an $850 million deal and 5 more clients for you." By the time I landed, I wasn't just stealing his deal. I was taking over his entire company. SEO hook, 50 words. When Wade Parker got fired via email at 35,000 feet, his young CEO thought he had him trapped. But this 47-year-old Army veteran had something the tech executive didn't expect: relationships, backup plans, and the skills to turn a corporate betrayal into the ultimate revenge. What happened next changed everything. Vietnamese translations. TUD CEO sa thải. Tôi ở độ cao 35,000 feet. Tôi gọi đối thủ của hắn chiếm lại công ty hắn. Text thumbnail. Tôi đang ở độ cao 35.000 feet khi quyền truy cập công ty của tôi bị cắt. CEO mới gửi email, dịch vụ của anh không còn cần thiết nữa. Tôi mua Wi-Fi và gọi cho đối thủ lớn nhất của hắn. Tôi có thỏa thuận $850 triệu và 5 khách hàng nữa cho anh. Vào lúc tôi hạ cánh, tôi không chỉ đánh cắp thỏa thuận của hắn, tôi đang chiếm lấy toàn bộ công ty của hắn. CEO Hook. Khi Wade Parker bị sa thải qua email ở độ cao 35.000 feet, CEO trẻ tuổi nghĩ rằng hắn đã giam cầm được ông. Nhưng cựu quân nhân 47 tuổi này có thứ mà giám đốc công nghệ không ngờ tới: các mối quan hệ, kế hoạch dự phòng và kỹ năng biến sự phản bội thành cuộc trả thù tối thượng. Target Audience Primary. American males aged 50 plus. Secondary. Business professionals, corporate veterans. Themes: experience versus youth, traditional values versus tech disruption, revenge fantasy. Key hook elements. Dramatic setting. 35,000 feet, unique, memorable. Power reversal, from victim to victor, generational conflict. 47-year-old veteran versus young tech CEO stakes. Escalation, from losing job to taking over company. No spoilers, maintains curiosity gap for full story. I was flying to Frankfurt to close an $800 million deal when my phone buzzed with an email that changed everything. Access denied. The board had voted to fire me at 35,000 feet, thinking I'd be helpless until I landed. They were wrong. My name's Wade Parker. I'm 47 years old, and I just spent the last 3 hours turning their celebration into a funeral from my airplane seat. But let me back up and tell you how this whole thing started. The flight attendant placed a glass of water on my tray table. "We'll be pushing back in 5 minutes, Mr. Parker. Anything else before takeoff?" "Just the Wi-Fi code, please," I said, adjusting my tie. It wasn't my best suit, but it was the one I wore for important meetings. The kind where you're about to sign the biggest contract of your career. "I need to review some last-minute documents." She handed me the card and walked away. I unlocked my phone, expecting to see the final draft of the Schneider AG agreement. This was the deal I'd been working on for 18 months. $800 million acquisition of a German automation company. The deal that would secure my kids' college tuition and maybe, just maybe, get my ex-wife Nicole to stop looking at me like I was a failure. Instead, my screen went gray. Exchange password required. That was weird. I typed in my password, same one I'd been using for 6 months. Incorrect password. I tried again, slower this time. Account suspended. Please contact IT administrator. The plane lurched as we pushed back from the gate. I switched to Slack. "You have been removed from this workspace." That's when the cold sweat started. I'm not just some employee you can lock out for technical difficulties. I'm the director of strategic sales. I've been with TechFlow Solutions for 12 years. I survived 3 different reorganizations and 2 CEOs. I opened my personal email, the one I keep for emergencies. There it was, time-stamped 4 minutes ago. Subject: Notice of Termination, Wade Parker. The sender wasn't HR, it was from Brent Collins, our 29-year-old CEO who took over 8 months ago. The golden boy with an MBA from Stanford and absolutely zero field experience. In Brent's world, everything could be solved with an algorithm, and anyone over 40 was a legacy cost. I tapped it open. Short and cold, just like him. "Dear Wade, effective immediately, your services are no longer required. The board has voted to terminate your contract for cause, citing philosophical misalignment with the company's digital transformation initiative. Your company access has been revoked. Do not contact clients or employees. Terminated. The engines roared to life and we started taxiing. I was trapped in a metal tube, heading toward a meeting I was no longer authorized to attend. Brent had timed this perfectly. He knew I was on Flight 441 to Frankfurt. He waited until the doors closed and I was stuck in the sky for 8 hours. I pulled out my personal laptop, an old Dell I'd kept from my army days. Heavy, scratched, but it had one thing Brent forgot about: a local hard drive with everything backed up. Old habits from Afghanistan, where you never knew when the network would go down. See, here's what these tech kids don't understand. I started in sales in 1999, back when we actually had to build relationships. I don't just know the business financials of my clients. I know that Herr Schneider's daughter is studying engineering at MIT. I know he's diabetic, but too proud to admit it affects his energy levels. I know he's worried about automation killing jobs, which is why I spent months crafting protection clauses for his workers. The seatbelt sign went off at 10,000 feet. Around me, other passengers were settling in for the long flight. To them, this was just another Tuesday. To me, it was war. I connected to the plane's Wi-Fi and checked the flight tracker. There was an earlier flight to Frankfurt that had left 2 hours before mine. I pulled up the passenger manifest, something I learned to access during my logistics days in the Army. There it was, seat 3A, S. Dixon, Shane Dixon, of course. Brent's 25-year-old lapdog with a freshly minted MBA and 0 real-world experience. Shane was the kind of guy who thought closing deals was about PowerPoint presentations and buzzwords. He probably couldn't even pronounce Schneider's first name correctly. I opened my encrypted backup files and found the Schneider profile. While Shane was probably reviewing his slides and practicing his pitch, I had something better. I had the relationship, and more importantly, I had the real contract. I opened the latest version of the Schneider agreement from the company servers before my access got cut. Then I pulled up my backup copy from last week. I ran a comparison and my blood went cold. Section 8.2, Employee Protection Guarantees, deleted. Section 12.4, Pension Transfer Obligations, modified. Those bastards had gutted the worker protections. The clauses I'd fought for, the promises I'd made to Herr Schneider about taking care of his people, all gone. They were planning to acquire his company and immediately start layoffs to optimize operational efficiency. Herr Schneider would never sign this if he knew. But Shane didn't know Herr Schneider like I did. Shane would walk in there with his flashy presentation, claim these were minor formatting updates, and Herr Schneider might sign without his lawyers reviewing every detail. After all, he trusted me. This wasn't just about firing me anymore. This was about betraying a man who'd treated me like family for 18 months. They were going to destroy 200 jobs and wreck a family business that had operated with integrity for 3 generations. The plane hit some turbulence, but I barely noticed. I was already planning my counterattack. In the Army, they teach you that when you're outnumbered and outgunned, you don't engage directly. You find allies, you use superior intelligence, and you hit them where they don't expect it. Right now, I was definitely outnumbered. But I had something Brent Collins didn't: relationships built over 12 years and the wisdom to use them. I opened a new browser tab and searched for Pierce Adams, CEO of Adaptech Industries. Pierce and I had been rivals for years, but the good kind. We competed hard but respected each other. His company had been trying to break into the German market for 2 years without success. Today might be his lucky day. I found Pierce's direct line and dialed through the plane's phone system. It was expensive, but I was about to make it worth every penny. "Adams here," came the gruff voice. It was 3 p.m. in New York. "Pierce, it's Wade Parker." Silence. Then, "Wade, aren't you supposed to be closing the Schneider deal right now?" I was preparing my condolence speech. "I'm at 35,000 feet, I said, keeping my voice low so the other passengers wouldn't hear. "But I'm not closing anything. Brent Collins just fired me via email," a low whistle. "That's bold. Stupid, but bold. So what, you calling for a job reference?" "No, I'm calling to sell you something. I've got Schneider in my pocket, and not just Schneider. If we do this right, I can bring you 5 other German clients worth $300 million combined." I could hear Pierce sitting up in his chair. I'm listening, but I need a lawyer. Someone who knows Brent's playbook better than he does. Someone with a grudge. Pierce laughed, a sound like gravel in a cement mixer. You want Cody Foster, the guy Brent fired last year? The very same. Cody's been waiting for payback ever since. I can have him on retainer in 30 minutes. Do it. And Pierce, I need an offer letter ready. Not for me, for Schneider. If Brent's buying them for $800 million with poison pills, you need to offer $850 million with full worker protections. That's rich, Wade. My board will have my head. You're not just buying a company, you're buying access to the entire German industrial automation market. And you're doing it with someone who actually speaks the language and knows the culture. Think of it as an investment in relationships, not just machinery. There was a pause. I could hear him calculating. Pierce was a numbers guy, but he was also smart enough to see the bigger picture. All right, he said finally. But Wade, you know Brent's going to sue you into next week. He'll claim corporate espionage, breach of fiduciary duty, the whole 9 yards. Let him try. I've got something he doesn't have. The truth. And more importantly, I've got documentation of contract fraud. What kind of fraud? I explained about the deleted worker protection clauses, the pension modifications, the whole scheme to gut Schneider's workforce after the acquisition. Pierce listened without interrupting. Jesus Christ, he said when I finished. That's not just unethical, that's potentially criminal. Which is why I need Cody Foster. If this goes to court, I want the meanest, smartest lawyer on our side. Consider it done. I'll call him right now. Thanks, Pierce. I owe you one. You owe me 5 if this works out. But Wade, what's your play here? You're burning every bridge with TechFlow. There's no going back after this. I looked out the airplane window at the clouds below. We were somewhere over the Atlantic now, halfway between my old life and whatever came next. Good, I said. I don't want to go back. They showed me who they really are today. Brent Collins thinks experience doesn't matter, that relationships are just data points in a spreadsheet. He's about to learn otherwise. What about your kids? College tuition doesn't pay itself. That hit home. Tyler was a senior, already accepted to 3 universities. Madison was a sophomore with straight A's, talking about pre-med. The divorce had been expensive enough. I couldn't afford to be unemployed for long. That's exactly why I'm doing this, I said. I'm not going to let some 29-year-old MBA destroy everything I've built. Tyler and Madison are counting on me. Nicole might not say it, but she's worried too. This deal goes through, their futures are secure. And if it doesn't, then I'll figure something else out. But Pierce, I've been building relationships in this industry for 12 years. I know where the bodies are buried. I know which CEOs are having cash flow problems, which ones are looking to expand, which ones are tired of dealing with tech bros who think business is just another app. Pierce was quiet for a moment. Then he chuckled. You know what? I like it. It's audacious as hell, but I like it. Give me 2 hours to get the paperwork ready. Thanks, Pierce. One more thing. When you call Cody Foster, tell him Wade Parker is cashing in a favor. What favor? He'll know. 4 hours into the flight, I had Cody Foster on an encrypted video call. The connection was spotty, but good enough. Cody looked exactly like I remembered. Thin, sharp-eyed, with the kind of smile that made opposing counsel nervous. Wade, his voice crackled through my headset. Pierce told me what happened. Brent really stepped in it this time. Can we stop him legally? The termination's probably clean, employment at will and all that, but the contract manipulation, that's fraud, plain and simple. And I still have contacts at Schneider's law firm from when I handled their due diligence work 3 years ago. Meaning? Meaning if they receive a whistleblower tip about securities fraud, they're obligated to investigate. And if they find irregularities, the deal gets suspended pending legal review. Exactly. Send me the redlined document comparison. I'll make sure it reaches the right people. I uploaded the contract files to a secure server. Within an hour, Cody had forwarded them to Schneider's legal team with a carefully worded memo about potential irregularities requiring immediate review. Then my phone buzzed with a text. Package delivered. Schneider's lawyers are not happy. Meeting delayed pending legal review. Your boy Shane is currently sitting in the Frankfurt hotel lobby looking very confused. Perfect. Phase 1 of the counterattack was complete. The captain announced our descent into Frankfurt. I had 45 minutes before landing and Shane Dixon had a 2-hour head start. But Shane was taking the train into the city to save on expenses. Classic cost-cutting move that Brent would love. Me? I had a car service waiting at the airport. Pierce had sent me the AdaptTech offer letter while I was still in the air. $850 million, full employment guarantees, pension protection, and management retention. Everything Brent had stripped out, we were putting back in, plus a 15% premium on TechFlow's original offer. My phone buzzed with updates from Cody. Schneider's legal team worked through the night. They found 12 separate violations of agreed-upon terms. Meeting moved to tomorrow morning. Shane's been sitting in the hotel bar for 4 hours. Perfect. I landed at Frankfurt Airport at 7 a.m. local time. I bypassed baggage claim, travel light, move fast, another Army habit, and cleared customs in 10 minutes. My driver was waiting with a BMW sedan, engine running. Hotel Steigenberger, bitte, I told him. Verstehen Sie Deutsch? He asked, surprised. Enough for business and family conversations. The drive through Frankfurt's financial district reminded me why I loved this work. Real buildings, real companies, real people making real products. Not algorithms and disruption theories, but generations of craftsmanship and engineering excellence. Schneider AG had been building automation equipment for 75 years. They weren't just another acquisition target, they were a legacy. I walked into the hotel lobby and immediately spotted Shane. He was exactly where Cody said he'd be, slumped in a leather chair near the bar, staring at his phone with a confused expression. Young guy in an expensive suit, probably wondering why his big moment had been delayed. I didn't stop to chat. I went straight to the elevator and pressed the button for the executive floor. Room 1205, Herr Schneider's suite. I'd been there many times over the past 18 months. I knocked. Herein. I walked in to find Herr Schneider sitting at his desk with a stack of papers in front of him. His lawyer, Frau Muller, was standing beside him, looking stern. On the desk was a printout of the red-lined contract comparison I'd sent through Cody. Herr Parker? Schneider stood up, his expression unreadable. We were told you were no longer with your company. That's correct, sir. I was terminated yesterday while en route to this meeting, and yet you are here. I placed my briefcase on the table and pulled out the AdaptTech offer letter, because I couldn't let you walk into a trap. The contract TechFlow sent. It's not what we agreed on. They removed all the worker protections we negotiated. Frau Muller slid the red-lined document across the desk. This analysis is accurate? Completely. They were planning to eliminate your workforce within 90 days of closing. Everything we discussed about protecting your employees. All lies. Herr Schneider's face went pale. Mein Gott. My employees. They are family to me. I know, sir, which is why I brought you this. I opened the AdaptTech letter. $850 million, with every protection clause we originally negotiated. Full employment guarantees for 24 months, pension transfers, management retention. AdaptTech wants to grow your business, not destroy it. Schneider read the offer carefully. His hands were steady, but I could see the wheels turning. This was a man who'd built his company from nothing, who understood that trust once broken could never be fully repaired. And your role in this, Herr Parker? I'm consulting for AdaptTech now. My only condition was that your people are protected. Business should be about building something lasting, not just extracting maximum value. He picked up his fountain pen, the same one his father had used to sign contracts. I think I would very much like to meet with AdaptTech Industries. While Schneider and his lawyers reviewed the paperwork, I stepped out onto the hotel's terrace. Frankfurt stretched out below me, a city that had rebuilt itself from rubble into one of Europe's financial capitals. Sometimes you have to tear things down to build them back better. My phone rang. Brent Collins. Wade, what the hell are you doing? Shane says Schneider postponed the meeting. Shane's probably having a nice breakfast by now, I said calmly. German hotels do excellent buffets. You sabotaged us. I'll sue you for everything you have. Brent, you need to calm down. You're going to give yourself an ulcer. You violated your NDA. You stole confidential information. I prevented a fraud. And technically, I was never properly notified of my termination. Email doesn't count for executive-level dismissals without certified delivery. Your lawyers should have told you that. Silence on the other end. I could practically hear him Googling employment law. Also, I continued, I just cost you about $600 million in German contracts. My other clients are asking some very pointed questions about TechFlow's business ethics. Your stock's going to be interesting to watch when the market opens. You can't do this to me. I already did. Oh, and Brent? Next time you want to fire someone, maybe don't do it while they're flying to close your biggest deal of the year. Shows poor strategic thinking. I hung up and went back inside. Herr Schneider was signing the letter of intent. "There is one condition," he said, looking up at me. "I want you personally overseeing the integration. Adaptec may be buying my company, but you are the one I trust. It would be my honor, sir." While the lawyers handled the paperwork, I stepped into a quiet corner and called Tyler. "Dad, how did everything go?" "Better than expected, son. Looks like your college fund just got more secure." "Really? Mom's going to be so relieved. She's been worried about the tuition payments. Tell her I'll call tonight. I've got some good news to share." After I hung up, I opened my laptop and crafted an email to my 8 other German clients. The subject line was simple: Important Partnership Update. Due to leadership changes at TechFlow Solutions, including ethical violations recently discovered, I am transitioning my client relationships to Adaptec Industries. Pierce Adams and his team have committed to honoring all existing contracts while providing enhanced service levels. I will personally oversee all transitions to ensure continuity. I hit send. Within 2 hours, 6 of the 8 had agreed to preliminary meetings with Adaptec. The total contract value was over $400 million. My phone started buzzing with return calls, but I let them go to voicemail. I had something more important to do first. I walked downstairs to the lobby bar where Shane was still sitting, now nursing what looked like his 3rd coffee. "Shane," I said, taking the seat across from him. He looked up, startled. "Wade? What are you—" "I thought you were fired." "I was. How's the presentation going?" His face flushed red. "There's been a delay. Legal issues. I don't understand what happened." "I do," I said gently. "You're a smart kid, Shane. But Brent sent you to fix a problem he created. That's not fair to you or to Herr Schneider." Shane stared into his coffee cup. "What am I supposed to tell him?" "The truth. Sometimes that's all you can do." 3 days later, I was sitting in Pierce Adams' office watching TechFlow's stock price crater on the financial news channels. Down 35% in 48 hours. "Board's calling for an emergency session," Pierce said, pouring 2 glasses of bourbon even though it was only 2 p.m. "Word is they're looking for a new CEO. Couldn't happen to a nicer kid." Pierce handed me the glass and sat down behind his desk. "So what's the end game here, Wade? You've got the clients, you've got the relationships, you've secured Schneider. You could write your own ticket at any company in the industry." I looked at the contract on his desk. Senior Vice President, European Operations. $180,000 base salary plus 12% of all European revenue. It was a good deal, more than fair given what I'd delivered. "I've got a better idea," I said. "What if we buy them?" Pierce raised an eyebrow. "TechFlow? They're hemorrhaging money and credibility. The company's fundamentally sound. Good people, solid infrastructure, established client relationships. The leadership's the cancer. Cut out the tumor, keep the healthy tissue." Pierce pulled up TechFlow's stock price on his computer. "They're trading at $11. Last month they were at $38, which makes them a bargain. The board's desperate. They'll have to consider any reasonable offer. Define reasonable." I did the math in my head. $15 a share, above current market but well below their break-even point. They can't afford to say no. Pierce studied the numbers, his business instincts kicking in. "Hostile takeover? Friendly acquisition. We're offering them a lifeline." I paused, but I want to be the one signing those papers. 2 weeks later, I was sitting in TechFlow's boardroom. The same room where they'd voted to fire me. The board of directors looked like they'd aged 10 years in 2 weeks. Chairman Morrison sat at the head of the table, the man who'd rubber-stamped my termination without a second thought. Pierce walked in with our legal team. I followed, carrying the acquisition documents and trying not to smile. "Gentlemen," Pierce announced, "thank you for agreeing to meet with Adaptec Industries." "This is highly irregular," Morrison croaked. "We're in the middle of crisis management." "You're in the middle of a liquidation," I corrected, dropping the contract binder on the table with a satisfying thud. "Your stock is trading at $10. Your credit rating got downgraded again this morning. 3 more major clients jumped ship yesterday." Pierce slid the offer across the table. "Adaptec will acquire all outstanding shares at $15. That's a 50% premium over current market price. That's still a 60% loss for shareholders," Morrison protested. "It's better than the bankruptcy alternative," I said. "Which is where you're headed without this deal." A voice came from the corner. "This is insane." Brent Collins, looking like he hadn't slept in days. His golden boy confidence had completely evaporated. "Wade, you can't do this. You're a salesman. I'm the guy who built the relationships you destroyed. I'm the guy who knows what these clients actually need instead of what an algorithm thinks they need." I looked around the room. "You have two choices: sign the deal and walk away with something, or watch this company become a cautionary tale about what happens when you replace experience with arrogance." Morrison looked at the offer again, then at the stock ticker showing another 2% drop. He looked at his fellow board members, all of whom were avoiding eye contact. "I need 10 minutes to confer with the board," Morrison said finally. "You have 5. Pierce checked his watch. Then the offer drops to $12. They took 4 minutes. Morrison signed with shaking hands. The security team was waiting when the meeting ended, but they weren't there for me this time. "Brent Collins," I said, standing at what was now my conference table. "Please turn in your badge and company phone." "You can't do this," Brent whispered, clutching his iPhone like a lifeline. "Actually, I can. Adaptech now owns this company, and I'm the interim CEO. I nodded to security. "Pack your personal items. Anything left behind will be mailed to you." Brent walked toward the door, then stopped and turned back. "This isn't over, Wade." "Yes, it is," I said without looking up from the transition paperwork. "Good luck with whatever comes next." 6 months later, the merger with Schneider went through perfectly. Our German operations exceeded projections by 22%. I hired back most of the good people who'd been laid off during Brent's optimization phase and implemented the employee protection policies that had been stripped from the original contract. Tyler started at Penn State in the fall, his tuition fully covered by my signing bonus from the acquisition. Madison got accepted into a summer engineering program at MIT. Turns out her connection to Herr Schneider didn't hurt her application. Nicole came by the house last weekend for Tyler's 18th birthday. First time in 3 years she looked at me with something other than disappointment. "You did good, Wade," she said as we watched Tyler open his presents. "The kids are proud of you, really proud. Proud enough for you to maybe consider dinner sometime." She smiled, not the polite, distant smile I'd gotten used to, but the real one I remembered from when we first met. "Let's see how you handle civilian life first. Corporate warfare seems to suit you, but can you handle peace?" I'm sitting on my back porch now, watching Tyler and Madison toss a football in the yard. My phone's inside on the kitchen counter. First Saturday in 2 years I haven't checked my email. The company's running itself, the way good companies should. I handed the CEO position to someone I mentored personally last month, Elena Rodriguez, who understands that business is about people, not spreadsheets. She's already talking about expanding into renewable energy systems, working with some of Schneider's R&D team. There's a 1987 Camaro in my garage that needs a new transmission. Tyler's been asking if he can help fix it. Seems like a good way to spend the next few weekends. Some battles you win with superior firepower. Some you win with better strategy. But the best victories? Those you win by remembering what you're actually fighting for. And then you know when to holster your weapons and go home. Brent Collins landed at a startup in Silicon Valley, according to LinkedIn. VP of Business Development. Good for him. Everyone deserves a second chance to figure out what actually matters. Me? I'm thinking about whether that transmission job is a 2-man project or if Madison might want to learn about engines too. Either way, we've got time to find out.